When I was a wee buck growing up in Belfast, around the ages of 8, 9, 10, maybe even up to 12, our favourite game was Cowboys and Indians. I know you're not supposed to say Indians, it's not politically correct these days, but when you're 8 or 9 or 10, 11 years old, it didn't matter a damn. It was a simple game, just a lovely little game that we loved to play pretty well every day when the sun was shining. Actually, these days now I'm performing, I call myself the Irish Cowboy. Probably very memorable name for the days that I was playing Cowboys and Indians. So I'm going to play a little cowboy song since I'm called the Irish Cowboy. There's a song by Marty Robbins, probably one of his lesser known songs, called Big Iron. Here we go. This is very indicative of the North American culture to this day, the gun culture. To the town of Agua Fria rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. For the ranger there to seen him had a big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town. He came riding from the south side, slowly looking all around. He's an outlaw, listen, running was a whisper on each lip. And he's here to do some business with that big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. In this town there lived an outlaw by the name of Texas Red. Many men had tried to take him, and that many men were dead. He was vicious and a killer, just a youth of 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 and 19 more. 1 and 19 more. Now the stranger started talking, made it plain to folks around. Was an Arizona ranger, wouldn't be too long in town. He was here to take an outlaw back alive or maybe dead. And he said it didn't matter, he was after Texas Red. After Texas Red. Wasn't long before the story was relayed to Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry, and they tried before we're dead. 20 men had tried to take him, 20 men had made a slip. 21 would be the ranger with a big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Wasn't long before the story was relayed to Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry, men that tried before were dead. 20 men had tried to take him, 20 men had made a slip. 21 would be the ranger with that big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Now the morning passed so quickly, it was time for them to meet. It was 20 past 11 when they walked into the street. Folks were watching from the windows, everybody held their breath, for they knew this handsome ranger was about to meet his death. About to meet his death. There was 40 feet between them when they stopped to make their play. And the swiftness of the ranger is still talked about today. Texas Red had not cleared leather when a bullet fairly ripped. And the ranger's aim was deadly with that big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. It was over in a moment, and the folks all gathered round. There before them lay the body of that outlaw on the ground. Oh, he might have gone on living, but he made one fatal slip when he tried to match the ranger with that big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Big iron, big iron. When he tried to match the ranger with that big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Woo!